In the aftermath of the George Floyd uprising, Minnesota saw a flurry of legal changes meant to address the social and structural racism that many black and brown families in the Twin Cities experience. Now, this includes a supposed policing overhaul as well as new regulations on how police body cameras are worn. Earlier this year, the St. Paul City Council voted to explore the latest issue to achieve racial equality: reparations. The idea of reparations has long been discussed in this country, and conventional history tells of a Minnesota that was so pro-union it was the first state to offer troops to Lincoln. However, a deeper dive into Minnesota's history will show a state much more segregated than many of us care to remember. I was able to sit down with the president of the Reparations Council, Trahern Crews, to discuss how segregationist policies lead to the need for reparations.
Why do you think it's been such a slow-moving process? Why are we still asking for reparations all these years later?
For one, slavery really never ended. It just changed. So like when people go to jail or people go to prison, even here in the Minnesota Constitution, the word slavery is in the Constitution. And then racial covenant laws are deeds on houses that say you can't sell this house to a black person or to a Moorish American or an Asian person like that. So say you worked at Ford or something and you were making pretty good money, you couldn't go buy a house on Lincoln, even if you could afford it. So then you're forced to buy a house in a poor neighborhood, and the equity in that house isn't going to go, it's not going to be the same as if you lived on Lincoln, and then that's denying you and your offspring of building generational wealth.
Racial covenants are popular nationwide as a way to keep segregation a secret. Mapping Prejudice is a local initiative housed at the U of M with the sole intention of uncovering these discriminatory deeds and uploading them online with an interactive map. A simple overlay with current demographics will show how long these policies have unofficially lasted. So the argument is this: white families were able to build generational wealth with access to homes in expensive locations, while black families were systemically and intentionally disregarded from the entire process. This has put black families in Minnesota, and specifically the Twin Cities, at a disadvantage. This systemic segregation has seemingly contributed directly to the wealth gap we see between black and white families in Minnesota.
Ramsey County did a anti-racism audit in 2008, and they found that their policies and procedures harm the people that society fears the most. And the people that society fears the most look like George Floyd, look like Jamal Clark.
But where will the money come from, and who will get it?
Well, we know the city of St. Paul is kind of strapped for cash right now. Mm-hmm. However, the resolution calls for any institution or organization that has participated in maybe slavery or racial discrimination and has benefited from it to take part. We were saying that we wanted to put a tax on tobacco because our ancestors picked tobacco. Without slavery, there'd be no tobacco industry in the United States. Without slavery, there'd be no medical industry in the United States or clothing industry, because we were picking the cotton and whatnot. So we wanted to put, before Trump, we were talking about putting tariffs on certain products and have those that tax be put into a trust fund and distributed to the descendants of slavery who reside in St. Paul.
The conversation around reparations is ongoing with a wide array of issues to be discussed. In his article for the Minnesota Spokesman Recorder, Dr. Ball argues for more political power for black people instead of cash payments, saying, "We deserve more than reparations. We deserve an entire civilizational break from the processes that produced the need for reparations in the first place." Now, this isn't an issue that's lost on Trahern. He told me he views reparations as an umbrella term for social and racial justice initiatives, with the council also focusing on inequalities in housing, healthcare, education, as well as inequalities in the criminal justice system. At this point, with the council still forming and plans still being made, we don't know a whole lot about what reparations will actually look like. The hope seems to be that direct cash payments and the cessation of wrongs against black people will help level the playing field in Minnesota. With so many voices that need to be heard and so much information that needs to be shared, the journey to reparations is only beginning. But to find out where it goes, stay tuned to the Neighborhood Reporter.